Hi guys, I'm Random Dave, and today I watched Pokemon Episode 5 Showdown in Pewter City. Oh yeah, I watched it on the PS3 today, not the Wii U. As you can probably see, I'm in a different house, so I didn't bring the Wii U with me. Just used to showing you the controller as I tell you the title, don't know why. Anyway, before I get started talking about this episode, I want to address something. It's the description Netflix has given this episode. So imagine this, you're going to watch this episode, you think, oh, I'll just read the little preview, the blurb that Netflix gives it. What does it say about this episode? I have to read it off the screen here. Jesse, James and Meowth dig a trap for our heroes, but they end up falling into it themselves. This episode starts off with Team Rocket's motto. And Meowth interrupts it. They obviously couldn't be bothered with these characters in this episode because that's pretty much all they're in it for. And yeah, they dig their trap, they hide it so well, and they fall into the trap. Then the title of the episode appears, and I'm thinking, did whoever wrote that description, whether that's just for Netflix or in general what the description for the episode is, did they only watch that one scene and think that was the whole episode? Because that has absolutely nothing to do with this episode. It's just a little thing before the title, and yeah, that doesn't really tell you anything about it, because it says Showdown in Pewter City. So is the battle with Team Rocket the showdown? But no, because it's quite a big episode. This is where Ash battles Brock for the Boulder Badge, and he gets Brock joining him at the end. Obviously you don't want to spoil that for people, but seriously, is that the best description they could give? Madness. So Ash and Misty approach Pewter Gym. They're finally out of that forest. They meet a mysterious guy called Flint, who I'm just going to call him Rockman because he's obsessed with rocks. He sells rocks. He charges Ash $2 for sitting on a rock, even though they're just rocks. He says he sells them as souvenirs, which isn't a bad idea. I could just sit in the fields and say, oi, you're on the grass, that's a souvenir from me. I'm going to charge you for that. So I'm guessing this guy Flint owns the town, probably, or city, because it's Pewter City, isn't it? The city does look a lot bigger than it does in the game, like all the places, because what was it, like 3 houses and a museum in the game? And Ash then sees a poster advertising the Pokemon League Championships, whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna enter that. And then Misty says, well, you've got to beat the 8 gym leaders first. And I'm thinking, surely Ash already knows this. I mean, he's gone off on his Pokemon journey, surely he must know about the Pokemon League. I mean, wasn't he watching that on TV before he left town in the first episode? He's sure it was the Pokemon League he was watching on TV, so he must know about it already. Ash finally makes it to the gym, and I bet Brock couldn't believe his luck when he saw Ash had a Pikachu with him and not a Squirtle, because he must hate trainers that come in with a Squirtle, because he just walked all over him in the games. So Brock says, let the games begin, and then the gym sort of appears, like all the boulders come from the sides. Could have crushed Ash, actually. He ran out the way just in time. And it's Pikachu versus Onix, and Onix just basically strangles Pikachu. His electric attacks obviously don't work against Onix. One thing I'm noticing about Onix is he doesn't say his name. He just roars. And so I did see a meme once saying, what if Pokemon don't say their name? What if they're just named after the noises they make? You know, because obviously they see Pikachu and all he says is Pikachu, like that, and so maybe they called him Pikachu because of that. It's quite an interesting concept, but it's proven wrong in this episode because he's called Onix. I mean, if that was the rule, then surely his name would be Roar! I choose you, Roar! At first, Pikachu tried to run away from Onix and send out Pidgeotto, but then Onix is just thrashing around, smashing into the balls, and I'm thinking, has Onix ever, because he's massive, has he ever sort of destroyed the gym building at all in all these battles? Or, I mean, how well built is this gym? I mean, can it withstand Onix attacks on the walls and stuff? And as Onix is strangling Pikachu with its bind attack, Ash says, cut it out. And then Brock says, do you surrender? Even though it's pretty clear Ash did just surrender. And then Ash just hesitates for ages and then says, yes. And it's like, well, why didn't you just call him off straight away? You said cut it out already. You obviously wanted it to stop. Then you just pause for ages. So the rock man, Flint I think his name was, he takes Ash back to his house so Pikachu can rest. Then he sort of shows Ash, basically spies through Brock's window at all the kids, and I'm thinking, does this mysterious man stare at those kids all day? I mean, he's sort of hiding his face and has a beard. It's kind of creepy. And he just says to Ash, look, Brock has a softer side. Look, he's wearing a pink apron and he's looking after all his younger brothers and sisters. That's great. His father walked out of them to become a Pokemon trainer. And Ash doesn't really question why this mysterious man who hides his face spies on these kids. Ash just says he feels sad about it, and he says he doesn't want to hear any more of this story about Brock's upbringing because he doesn't want to feel too sad, because I'm determined I want to beat Brock. And I'm thinking, surely hearing that Brock is actually a really nice, sensitive guy, looking after his family, working really hard to look after his little younger brothers and sisters, that makes Ash more determined to beat Brock. And I don't know where that came from. It's kind of weird, but Ash is just a kid, I suppose. So Rockman takes Ash to this hydroelectric plant, says you can power up Pikachu with the plant here. And I'm thinking, well, this mysterious man who's hiding his face and all that is offering Ash a chance to beef Pikachu up for a gym battle. I mean, if you were going to have sort of like a fight, maybe if it was a boxing match or something, and then some mysterious man on your face says, I know a way to power you up for it, I mean, you'd think a bit, oh, this is going to be a bit illegal, isn't it? But who knows, there's no rule, I suppose, to say you can't use an electric plant to power up a Pokemon. And when he's sort of saying about it, and Ash says, how do you know so much about Pokemon? And he's like, oh, I got lucky. And I'm thinking, well, why can't he just say, because I'm a grown man living in a world surrounded by Pokemon, I learnt just normally just learnt it, you know? But no, he sort of like has to hesitate, and I'm like, I mean, it's obviously very suspicious who this man is, and it's pretty obvious who this man is actually, which obviously gets revealed at the end. And so I just don't know why he just sidesteps, or is there a little hint to the audience that he's that Pokemon trainer that abandoned his son Brock. And this Flint, he didn't really demonstrate a huge knowledge of Pokemon, he demonstrated a huge knowledge of electricity. So it's kind of weird that Ash is saying, I do much about, why didn't he say, why do you know so much about electricity? And Misty offers to lend Ash one of her Pokemon, because obviously water against rock. And I'm wondering, is that allowed in the league rules, to use someone else's Pokemon to battle? Because you didn't train those Pokemon at all. So unless, you know, she was proposing that they did an official trade just for this battle, so they would be his Pokemon, then maybe. But, you know, if she was just going to lend him Staryu or something, then would that be allowed? I don't know if, I'm sure in other battles they've lent each other their Pokemon, but just feels a bit like cheating to me. So Ash makes a dramatic I'm back return, and Brock obviously is confident because he proved in the last battle he can beat Ash with his eyes closed. Brock sends out Geodude, Ash sends out Pidgeotto, Gust Attack does nothing, and then Pidgeotto ends up fainting, even though we didn't see Geodude actually attack. Pidgeotto was sort of flapping about and Geodude was going like that on the floor, but they weren't actually fighting, I suppose. He didn't see an actual attack. Pidgeotto must have just got knackered like when it battled the Weedle. So, Ash sends out Pikachu, Thundershock takes out Geodude in one hit. Brock's like, wow, you've been training that Pikachu better. In this one night you've had since we last battled, I presume it's been one night, you know, you've been training him a lot better and now he's much, much more powerful. It's a phone. And Brock doesn't suspect any foul play at all. I mean, it's been one night since they last battled and suddenly this Pikachu's a lot stronger, and he just presumed, oh, you've been training it better in this one night. Yes, he's not too bright, is he? Onyx comes out and binds Pikachu again. The Thunderbolt's not strong enough for Onyx though, because Onyx is a lot bigger, a lot stronger. Anyway, Brock ends up just calling the Onyx off because he says, I don't want to hurt your Pokemon, so I'm presuming Brock's won the battle at this point. But then the sprinklers go off, and that hurts Onyx, and then Pikachu, yeah, Thunder Shock, take out the Onyx, all that. And then he says, oh no, my conscience is holding me back, and turns out Brock's younger brothers and sisters are holding Ash back to stop Onyx getting hurt. So do they do this for every challenger at the gym? Do the kids always come up to watch and always hold them back, or is this just the first time they've come to see a battle and didn't really know what to expect? But anyway, even though Brock concedes, says yes you beat me, Ash says it shouldn't count because the sprinklers going off shouldn't count. I mean, it wasn't me. It feels like cheating, all that. But using a hydroelectric plant to power up your Pikachu, that's not cheating at all, of course. Seeing this sort of gives me an idea why a great idea for a video game, because obviously in the games, the RPGs, obviously it's turn-based attack, but it would be nice to see a game where it was like that, because I loved watching the battles in this cartoon, because you get to see things like him setting off the sprinklers to damage Onyx, context sensitive sort of things. It would be nice to see a game where, say, you're in a battle, you're playing as Pikachu and you're fighting an Onyx, obviously your electric attacks aren't going to work, and you've got to, almost like a puzzle element, you've got to work out something in the room to put the match in your favour. And that could be an example for maybe the opening stage or something. I mean, it would be nice to see a game like that. Doubt it'll ever happen though. So as they walk away, Brock catches up with them, saying, "Oh, I'm going to give you the badge anyway. You showed so much caring for your Pokemon." And, yeah, right. When normally I give badges to people that brutally almost murder my Pokemon, but you show caring, so I'll give you this anyway. And then he says, "Can I join you as well? Because I want to breed Pokemon. I want to be the world's best Pokemon breeder." And although in the cartoon from now on you see Brock sort of, he looks after Pokemon, he raises some and all that, but we don't actually see him breeding any. I mean, I don't think we ever see him actually get a male and a female Pokemon and actually get them to have babies or anything. And, so he doesn't really do much breeding. I wonder how much breeding he's done before here, but yeah, let's just see how well he works towards his dream. And he also says, "Why is this girl following us?" And Ash just says, "Oh, run away from her, quick!" And I'm thinking, well, what if he wants to run away from her? Why didn't he just do that in the forest when she was asleep or something? Or when she was petrified of the bugs? Anyway, this Flint Rock guy comes along and reveals that he's Brock's father, and he decides to take care of his family. Ash doesn't seem to question the fact that, so you've been sitting there watching your brother work hard and struggling to raise your other children, but you walked out of them when you were already an adult, obviously, to be a Pokemon trainer, something that kids tend to do, but he started late, I suppose. And Brock doesn't seem to be that angry at him. He just gives him a crash course in what the kids like and dislike and all that. So yeah, he's quite forgiving after all that torture he's had to go through, being a gym leader and raising 10 kids at the same time. Kids that, are his siblings, not his own children. So Brock is a very forgiving fellow. Oh, and Team Rocket climb out the hole and get stomped on. They were pretty pointless in this episode, but he didn't really need them, so it's nice they gave him a little joke, which Netflix seems to want to make that the highlight of the episode. Don't know why. Anyway, this was a good episode, big episode. I mean, Ash got his first badge. He got a new friend as well to join him on his quest. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next episode.